All right, so I'll come back to what is Six Sigma. So we talked about Six Sigma, how the quality has evolved from inspection to a Six Sigma level, uh, and we'll quickly cover what is Six Sigma. So Six Sigma, as you said, it's one of the method of improving the existing process, and it is so Six Sigma techniques. It takes into account the number of defects that you're producing. So if it is said that if your process is producing a 3.4 defect per million opportunity, then your process is supposed to be working at a Six Sigma level. What that means is, in terms of probability or percentage, right, it would mean 99.99966% non-defective product. So if we have improved the process to such an extent, that means our process is working at a Six Sigma level. And Six Sigma is not a certification for the organization, right? So Six Sigma is actually the project by project approach, and individuals get certified as Six Sigma professionals, unlike ISO, wherein the certification is given to the organization when organization has demonstrated that they are following the practices and processes laid down, or the guideline laid down by the standard. Six Sigma is a project by project approach, so there's no set standard, there's no set guideline as such. Six Sigma tells gives us a lot of tools depending on the kind of project that we are working in. We can omit usage of some of the tools. We can include some of the tools which are outside Six Sigma purview as well. The intention is that you are able to improve the process and improve it to such an extent wherein your number of defects that your process is producing, it reduces.
That makes sense. Do you see that the ISO is kind of fading away the last year or so?
I would say I would not say fading away as such, Scott, but I would say the rigor has come down. I'll tell you the reason for that. Since the new certification that has come in, I think ISO 9001 2015, there's a lot of emphasis on risk management, and companies have started to realize, because businesses all across want to see the that we are spending money, what is the ROI that we are getting. And somewhere, our ISO is not, and that's my personal take, ISO is not able to calculate the benefit that it is giving to the business. So probably that's the reason why the rigor has come down a bit. And just like, have you heard about CMMI, capability and maturity model?
I have not.
Okay, so that's.
Did you say KPI?
No, CMMI.
Oh, CMMI. I have not.
Right. Yeah. So CMMI is basically it is called capability and maturity model integration. So it has got 5 levels. So about some years back, about 4 or 5 years back, there was a lot of rigor. Organizations all across the world started following CMMI practices, especially IT and IT enabled organizations. And again, if you go to any big organization like any big IT organization like Infosys, Dell, Apple, and Microsoft, you would find that these organizations do a lot of these certifications. One is it helps them to gain business, because it gives confidence to the customer that this is an organization, because they are ISOs or CMMI level 5, they have certain practices which are getting followed in the organization. But then for ISO, it is so if you talk about Indian industry, because you get a lot of business from US and European region, so the lot of companies who gets business or who outsource business in US, they look for these certifications in the organization. So in India, I would say ISO has become more or less a norm. I am not too sure about US because I've seen a couple of companies who used to go for ISO certification. They have not gone for it this year. Their certification was so.
Exactly what happened with us.
Oh, you did not go for certification this year?
We dropped our ISO this year.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Okay. Right. And I think one of the prime reason is that, somewhere, people are not able to get the ROI. I'm investing so much of money. I'm inviting the consultant to come look at the process. I'm pushing the team to follow the process, do the documentation. But then, where is the gain? What am I getting out of it? So somewhere ISO fails to calculate that gain. And, in corporate world, ROI is what matters. If I'm putting in money, what is the return that I'm getting?
Yep.
And that's the reason why you see Six Sigma is so popular, because you know exactly what is the amount of money that you have put in, and then what is the return that you get. So you can calculate, what is the benefit that I've got. So apparently Six Sigma is popular because of that. And in fact, the gentleman that you see right on your screen, Jack Welch, he was the CEO of GE. So Six Sigma is Six Sigma, I would say, because of this guy here. He was so convinced about Six Sigma principles and practices that he made it a norm in GE. He said, he came out with a rule called no belt, no promotion. If you're not a Six Sigma certified, you would not get promotion in the organization. So anybody want to get promoted, a person would need to complete a Six Sigma project with the tangible gains. So he implemented it in the organization with a vision that I would be able to, and he invested a lot of money into Six Sigma rigor. So what he did is he made it compulsory and mandatory for everyone to go through Six Sigma trainings. And I think he invested, it is said that he invested somewhere about $5 million into the entire initiative, with a vision that he would be able to realize it within the next 10 years. And so GE was able to actually realize the benefit, in fact surpass the benefit within 5 years of implementation itself. So other organizations saw the success of Six Sigma implementation in General Electricals, and that is when companies all across the world started adopting these principles. The gentleman that you see down here, Michael J. Harry, he is the one who actually conceived and along with the engineer called Bill Smith, they created Six Sigma. So Six Sigma is a copyright of Motorola Incorporation. So Michael J. Harry and Bill Smith they were engineers in Motorola. That is when they came about with the principle of Six Sigma as a way to measure the quality. And this gentleman right in the middle, you would know his name since you've been part of ISO, Edward Deming. So entire ISO is actually based on Deming cycle, PDCA. Still there, Scott?
Yep. Yep, all I'm right. Still here.
Okay. All right, so I'll move ahead. Six Sigma. So generally, if we look at the process, the one down here, this is generally our perspective of the process. For customer, this is what the process, and what customer view our contribution is this. So basically, what we're trying to explain is the process. Whenever we look at the process, at a very high level, before actually digging down and mapping the process, our view of the process is very small. So when we look at the process from a Six Sigma project perspective, we need to look at it, we need to expand our horizon and look at it from the customer perspective as well, because actually what the process is way bigger than what we manage. So this is what this particular image is trying to project. Apart from that, Six Sigma, it is there are certain basic principles. One is constant process improvement. It is driven by the data. and ultimate aim is to reach at this level wherein a process is only producing 3.4 defect per million opportunity, which is 99.99966% process yield. I will move ahead. What does it mean in number? So if you have a process which is 6 sigma, that would mean 3.4 defect per million opportunity, as in your process producing only 3.4 defect. If your process working at a 5 sigma, that would mean 233 defects. 3 sigma, about 66,800 defects. So as the sigma level decreases, the number of defects the process is producing, it increases. Some perspective of what 99%, so 99% quality, when we say, it means a good quality level, right? At 6 sigma, 99% for some of the processes might not be good. So 99% process yield or process quality would mean 3.8 sigma level, wherein 99.99966% would mean 6 sigma level. So what we are trying to project here, that the entire world changes from 3.8 to 6 sigma. So just some of the examples: 5,000 incorrect surgical operation per week. If the surgical operation process is working at a 3.8 sigma level, not a very good level to be at, is it?
Correct.
So 6 sigma level would mean 1.7 incorrect surgical operation per week. Do you think it is a good level for this kind of industry?
I don't know about surgical, but I don't want to be the 1.7. Probably
Absolutely.
good though.
Absolutely. If you look at this particular process, it will not be good. 1.7 is not good per week. So any process which involves a fatal error, which involves human life, a lot of monetary loss, should be working at a sigma level way higher than 6 sigma level. Right. So just like the next one, 2 short and long landing at the most major airport each day, 1 short and long landing at most every 5 years at each airport. I mean, it's not a very good process to be. Yeah, very good level to be in. Right. So this kind of process should be working at a way higher than a 6 sigma level. So NASA, their rocket launching process, it works at somewhere about 12 sigma level. Right. So how many times you hear, they're trying to launch a satellite and it crashes, very, very seldom, right? Very rarely.
Right.
Just because their process is not working at a 6 sigma level, their process working at a level which is way higher than a 6 sigma level. Okay. So depending on the process, the good sigma level varies. But then why 6 sigma? Because generally 6 sigma level is a very good level to be at for most of the industries. So you have a process which is only producing 3.4 defect per million transactions that you have. The process is working very, very well. Right. So it's a very good level to be at. So that's the reason why they kept 6 sigma as a name of the methodology. 6 is nothing but a mathematical number, and sigma is basically the the sign for standard deviation. We will go through that. Why 6 sigma? It's a no-brainer. There is a lot of competition nowadays. So if an organization doesn't mature its processes, somebody else in the competition will, and they will take away the customer. Right. So organization need to continuously evolve itself, improve its processes, so that they can deliver the value to the customer, and the value should be enhanced year-on-year basis. Because nowadays, if you look at it in major contracts, especially if you look at the service industry, almost in all the MSAs, all the contracts, there is generally clause of 10% productivity improvement year-on-year basis. Unless and until companies evolve, they improve their processes, they improve their productivity level, they would not be able to deliver what is there in the contract. So it is very important for companies to continuously evolve, continuously drive the process improvement. Okay, why 6 sigma? Various ways. It can be used by almost all the departments in an organization, design department, purchasing department, marketing, manufacturing, maintenance, QA, admin, service, you name the department, wherever there exists a process, a Six Sigma principles can be applied to improve that particular process. Okay, some few people in the field of Six Sigma who contributed to Six Sigma. The first one right here is a French mathematician. So if you look at it, this guy right here came out with the concept of normal curve, and he came out in 1736, way back, right? So, and Six Sigma, just got formed about what, 30 years back. So Six Sigma is actually, so all the tools which are there as a part of Six Sigma, Michael J. Harry and Bill Smith, who were the originator of Six Sigma, they did not came out with all these tools. But then what they did is they realized the importance of these tools, and then they prepared a very structured methodology which can actually look at the process, understand the process, utilize all these tools which are already there in the Six Sigma framework, and thereby get the benefit of understanding the process and doing the improvement in the process. Because Six Sigma uses a lot of this normal curve, it's a basic data analysis that you would do. Then you heard about this Pareto principle, 80-20 rule?
Correct.
So there's something that Italian sociologist called Vilfredo Pareto, he came out with, and there's something that is, again, it's a concept, right, of significant few. It is something that is used in the Six Sigma framework as well. And then we saw and we talked about statistical process control, and Walter A. Stewart is the gentleman who came out with in 1924, and it is again used quite extensively in the control phase of Six Sigma projects. And 1986 is when Will Smith and Michael J. Harry they introduced the concept of Six Sigma at Motorola, and 1995 is when Jack Welch launched Six Sigma in GE. So Six Sigma actually started taking a turning point from here in 1995 and onwards. In between, there's somebody known as Dr. Noriaki Kano. He introduced the concept of Kano principle, two-dimensional quality model. We will go through Kano model, and in 1960, Kairo Ishikawa introduced his fishbone and cause and effect diagram, which is again generally used in a lot of projects, a lot of simple process improvement projects which are not even based out of Six Sigma methodology, but it is something that is generally taught in the management courses as well. So I will move ahead. Some milestone, we will not go through it. I think you have the copy of this presentation, right?
Yeah, I believe I do.
Okay, so you can just go through the timelines. We'll not spend time here. So this is what the entire Six Sigma approach is all about. So it is all about, you have a practical problem. So generally, what do we do? Whenever we face with a problem, immediately we start thinking about the solution, don't we? We always do that, right? The moment somebody comes up with a problem, we immediately start thinking about, okay, what can be the solution, right? So Six Sigma says that is a traditional approach, and Six Sigma dissuade us to take that approach. Six Sigma, the approach is you have a practical problem, you convert that practical problem into a statistical problem, find out a statistical solution, then convert that statistical solution back to a practical solution and implement it. So it is a four-step approach, as they call it. From practical, convert it to a statistical problem, find a statistical solution, convert it back to a business solution or a practical solution. And it follows a five-step methodology called DMAC. So there are 2 or 3 methodologies within Six Sigma framework. One is DMAC, other one is DMA-DV. which we will go through in the further slides.